You know that feeling like you're your own worst enemy? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful philosophy that teaches you how to stop fighting your inner critic and, actually start outsmarting it. All right, let's get right into it because we've all been there, right? You get this amazing idea, a flash of genius. You feel that spark, that incredible excitement. And then, bam, this little voice in your head just pops up and starts listing every single reason why it's a terrible idea and will never, ever work. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. Yep, that's doubt for you. But here's the thing, and this is a total game changer. Doubt isn't some permanent part of who you are. It's just a habit. And you know what they say about habits? They can absolutely be broken. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we break this habit? Well, it all starts with understanding where doubt even comes from in the first place. And the secret, really, is knowing that at any given moment, we're living in one of two totally different inner worlds. Okay, think about it like this. Let's say you get laid off from your job. That's a fact, right? It happened. But do you see it as a total catastrophe, or do you see it as this amazing opportunity for a fresh start? See, that part is totally up to you. The doubt doesn't come from the event itself. Nope, it comes from the story you decide to tell yourself about that event. It's all about interpretation. And that's where you come in. This is where your real power is. At any second of any day, you get to choose the lens you're looking through. You're in the driver's seat. So the big question is, which one are you going to pick? So on one side, you've got what we can call the natural focus. This is all about the five senses, right? What you can see, touch, measure, the so-called hard facts. It's always stuck in time, thinking about past mistakes or worrying about the future. But then on the other side, you have the spiritual focus, or you could even call it your visionary focus. This one is totally different. It's powered by your imagination, by your vision of what could be. It lives in this place called the eternal now, where the past and future don't really matter, and literally anything is possible. So, which one of these is more powerful? You might be surprised by the answer, because the real fight, the real battlefield, it's not out there in the world. It's not against your competition or bad luck. The real victory, the one that matters most, happens right up here, in your mind. The famous strategist Sun Tzu nailed it when he said, "Every battle is won before it is ever fought." And look, that's not just some cool ancient quote. It's a fundamental truth about life. Whether you're going to succeed or fail, that's decided by your mindset, by what you truly believe, long before you even take that first step. Okay, let's bring this down to earth for a second. Let's make it super practical. You've probably heard this number thrown around, right? That a whopping 95% of new businesses fail. Ouch. I mean, that sounds pretty awful, doesn't it? A total dream killer? All right, now picture two different entrepreneurs. They're both looking at that exact same number. Entrepreneur number one looks at it and thinks, wow, the odds are just completely against me. I'm probably going to fail. But then you have entrepreneur number two. They look at the exact same statistic and think, so what? That's just a number. It has zero to do with me and what I'm building. Huge difference, right? And here's the absolute key takeaway. That 95% number, it was just a fact. It had no power on its own. It was completely neutral. It was the interpretation each entrepreneur gave it that created their reality. The power isn't in the facts, people. It's in the meaning you choose to assign to them. So let me ask you, what are you choosing to believe? Okay, that's great in theory, but how do we actually do this? How do you take control of that interpretation? Well, let's get into a really powerful, practical technique. I want you to think of yourself as the watchman at the gate. I love this metaphor. Imagine your mind is like the hottest VIP club in town. Your conscious mind, that's the bouncer at the front door. And it's their job to check the ID of every single thought that tries to get in. You are the one in charge of the guest list. And the rule is simple. Only thoughts that support your vision get past that velvet rope. Everything else, kick to the curb. So how do you become this master bouncer for your mind? It's actually a pretty simple four-step process. First, you've got to observe. Just listen in on your own inner monologue. Like, what are you really telling yourself all day? Second, catch. You got to spot those little sneaky thoughts of doubt before they crash your party. Third, choose. This is where you actively flip the script. You replace a negative thought with one that actually affirms your goal. And fourth, saturate. You got to curate the crowd inside your head. If you want to be a successful artist, you can't just scroll through junk. You need to be watching documentaries about artists, reading their biographies, going to galleries. You got to fill your mental club with the right VIPs. And I really want to double down on that second step, catching the intruders, because doubt is so sneaky. It's a master of disguise. It loves to hide in innocent little words like the word if. Think about it. When you say, I'll be successful if I get that promotion, what you're really telling your subconscious is, my success depends on something I can't control. A good watchman, a good bouncer, catches those ifs and says, nope, you're not on the list. Now, here's where it gets really cool. When you start doing this regularly, something amazing starts to happen. You'll feel this fundamental shift inside. You'll move beyond this state of constantly fighting off doubt, and you'll start to enter a state of what the source material calls a purified mind. And let's be super clear about this. The goal here is not to be at war with yourself for the rest of your life. No way. The goal is to cultivate this purified mind. It's a state of inner peace and focus and clarity that just lets you move through the world with so much more ease and effectiveness. So what does that actually feel like? Well, imagine just being in a state of effortless flow. Where things just seem to work out, to fall into place. That fear and that constant indecision, they start to fade away because you're not letting them in the door anymore. Success isn't this thing you have to chase and grind for. It just becomes a natural byproduct of who you are. It's like you finally crack the code. You're creating your life from the inside out. So let's bring it all home. Here's the bottom line. Every single battle you face is won or lost right up here, in your mind, before it ever happens in the real world. So the only question left, the only one that really matters is, which battle are you going to choose to win today? Because the choice, my friends, is all yours.